Hey guys, I'm going to be talking a little bit today about spiritual but not religious, or just so I don't have to say a mouthful, SBNR. This is the people that reject organized religion like Christianity or Islam, but still have a really important thing that there's a really important role for spirituality in their lives. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about this because it's an interesting topic. I'm pretty much going on a book, Spiritual but Not Religious Understanding Unchurched America by Robert C. Fuller, but I haven't even read the book. I'm going on paraphrasing that I heard as a lecture, and it was a really interesting lecture. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the ideas. You have one thing I want to say first before I go into this too is I used to be spiritual but not religious. So a lot of these things that I'm talking about I've thought before. So I can, you know, see my former self resonating a bit with a lot of these thoughts. So the difference that it has with organized religion is that there's no organization. The there's like the church. They see the church as you go there once a week and you stand up when the priest tells you to stand up and sit down when they say sit down, and you sing and you cite. You have like this rote memory for prayer, the Our Father or any other kind of prayer that you say in church repeatedly. There's this dislike for the organization of it, the dogma of religion, the lines. I mean, like you take the Bible, and there's if your church interprets it this way, they throw out that kind of dogma. So they're free of that. They don't believe in our original sin. They you're born into this earth and you're beautiful the way you are. That you're not evil or disgusting or gross. Uh, they believe that God is like a multifaceted diamond. Like if there's a diamond and there's like all these different parts, and I see God as like this part of the diamond, and Buddhism comes at from this angle, and Christianity from this angle, and Wicca from this angle. Like and that goes along with not being dogmatic too. Like Christianity often will say, "Well, the Muslim God isn't my God," so there's the there's like I guess a bit more openness to it, and it has to be that way. And I'll get into a little bit more about why. Um, there's I guess as a final thing, there's maybe this goes with organization, but disdain for patriarchy. Like you have the God, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, and the priest, and it's all masculine. So there's I think that ties into it too. There's no what it is a belief of like I'll find God in my own way, and a lot of it is like a more individual path towards finding God, towards finding um, a lot of them don't say God. A lot of them say the universe or the cosmos or energy, spiritual energy. There's definitely a belief in karma, what comes around goes around, and past lives, and like you're an energetic being, and your soul was something else at one point. Now, like the past life thing, maybe it doesn't apply to everyone, but I think the karma thing is definitely like a more common thing. And there's this belief that like we're all one in the universe, and that I am part of the universe, and so is this wall, and this we're all made of energy, and that's the like universal atom that like all connects us. Not only that, but the universe has benevolent intent that, like, the universe wants things to be good and order and enlightened, and everything is a move towards that. And we're all connected, and that goes along with, like, the law of attraction too, is that what you feel and think is what you're going to attract into your life. Like, if I feel rich and I feel, really successful and happy, I'm going, money's just gonna work itself into my life through the universe. So, for anyone that's seen The Secret knows what I'm talking about. Now, it's different than atheism in that, like, the law of attraction, I think that psychologically there's definitely something going on with why people are rich and why people are poor. As far as mentality goes, as far as projection goes. But to say that I'm thinking X and then the universe is going to bring riches to me in by the boatload is more along the lines of law of attraction, and it goes along with wishful thinking. There's, like, an atheist will be able to point out coincidence, and I was talking with someone at PorkFest who said, well, coincidence, yeah, but think about all the times coincidence doesn't happen. And, like, I had to laugh because, I mean, like, your espionage will, it's kind of like, I'm thinking of, I'll give a personal example. Like, I was thinking of, like, free goodies or free stuff one time, and someone came along and offered me Reese's Pieces, and I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, that's funny how that worked. So, like, but I realize that's coincidence. It's not and that guy is being nice, and just the random luck that I happen to be, sitting there at that time, and that person was giving out candy at that time. It's not a matter of, like, I attracted that guy into my life. There's problems that there's mind body problems. I think that the SBNR will take, like, whatever your mental state is, and that is like a diagnosis for a lot of diseases. And there's like, there again, it's a hard line to draw, because I think that your mental state and your mental well-being does play a part in health, but I don't think that it's the main cause. Like, if I get a life-threatening illness, it's not because I wasn't thinking too happily, although stress in my life can lead to body problems. I hope that makes sense. Like, but, like, anyone that needs me to clarify, leave comments, say so. The SPNR, I think it's too that the spiritual like science when it confirms their ideas, but not when it acts against them. So, like, quantum physics is an example. Or, like, the psychology, the somatoform disorders, for example, would be another one where, like, the mind has an effect on the body. So they like science in that aspect, but then when you point out to them that there's no universal energy particle that controls all and is all, then they don't like it. And that's like pseudoscience as presented in What the Bleep Do We Know? And, like, I bring this up for a reason. It's like, why talk about this? And I remember the atheism and agnosticism debate that Rice Johnson and Stefan Molyneux had during Free Talk Live, and uh, like Johnson says, well, Steph, why is this so important? Why does this matter? That like if people want to just think silly things, shouldn't we just let them? And Steph says it's dangerous, and I totally agree with that. And here's some of the problems that spiritual but not religious have. Blaming the victim. So if I drop a brick on my foot through accident, I let go, it's like heavy, I accidentally, and it falls on my foot, like the espionage type will be more likely to say, well, that's just a matter of your past life, and you need to learn a cosmic lesson about that. And the atheist will be more compassionate and say, "Are you all right? Do you want me to get a doctor or something? That looks like it really hurts." Like the atheist is going to have more empathy for you. Another is the the concept of like, okay, everything is perspective and there's no objective truth. And that's really harmful because like just think of something like the moon, and I think it was describing Deepak Chopra, something like that, said that like if enough people stop believing in the moon, then it doesn't exist. If people stop seeing it as there, it doesn't exist anymore. And that says that like there's no reality. There's no and that's a really dangerous view to have. There's they bastardize quantum physics, quantum mechanics to say like, Deepak Chopra will take quantum mechanics and read into it things that aren't there, and he'll take that type of terminology to try to explain his views. But people that are actually in the industry of quantum mechanics have scientific knowledge and understand it. He just uses those words, changes them around for his own meaning to get the point of spirituality across. And it's like there's some feelings of cockiness, like, oh, well, you just haven't found your faith. But I reconnect with the universe, and you just have to find your way of reconnecting. The atheist will point out, well, where's your proof? Oh, well, I am the proof. Experience is not the proof, but so long as you're going to be a spiritual but not religious, the line of thinking goes along that experience is the reality, where an atheist can step back and say, hey, I could be wrong, and that's what science is all about. And I say dangerous because it's like Nathaniel Branden points out that self-esteem is a matter of relation of oneself to reality. It's not a matter of like just feeling good about oneself, and that's why I think that this spiritual but not religious mentality is a way of saying that I'm right all the time. And it's like this narcissism, egoism thing that, like, if you're praised a lot, that you think you can do no wrong. Whereas, like, an atheist, knowing that reality is that he could be wrong, will reform ideas of the self in respect to reality. And I do want to say with an air of compassion, I want to point this stuff out, but I really don't want to sound like I'm being snarky or anything or being mean. I'm just trying to like point out some problems with this perspective. There's a lot of people that make videos of why the Christian God is wrong or something, but I really felt need to say this. Leave a comment. Take care.